I met you in the dark, it was a Saturday night.
What's up, people? It's just Emily, and I'm here with another video. So today, I had some pretty heavy stuff on my mind, if I'm being honest, and I figured that it was a worthy subject actually to speak about, because I know that I'm not the only one experiencing it. Actually, I think a lot of people are, and I thought, let's talk about it rather than just all deal with it on our own and struggle. So what am I talking about? What I'm talking about today is worthiness. Worthiness, worthiness, worthiness. Oof. So what am I talking about? What am I saying, asking here? Right. What is your worthiness based on? What is your worthiness based on? Recently, in doing my shadow work, I have realized that a whole lot of my views of things, a whole lot of my past opinions, a whole lot of, I don't know, knowledge I've gained or opinions that I held, whatever, were there because of other people. You know, were not things that I originated, if that makes sense, on my own. Like, for instance, this is not a real life example, but I'm just trying to think of it for instance. So, you know, say when you were a kid, you were learning to ride a bike, right? Let's just say for the sake, it's actually a pretty solid example in this case, you'll know what I mean. So say that you're learning to ride a bike, right? You're a kid learning to ride. So firstly, you know, you're concerned with your general stuff. Like you're worried about, am I gonna fall as a kid, as the kid riding the bike? You're like, am I gonna fall off this bike? Am I gonna run into traffic? Can I hold it up? You know, all these crazy things are probably swirling through your head. I honestly don't remember when I learned to ride a bike what I was thinking, but I remember I was being concerned about the balance of it, like flopping to one side. And for some reason, I remember I was concerned about just speeding down the road out of control. Like, which is funnier to me now actually than it even was then, because it's like you have brakes on your bike, you know, you have hand brakes, and if it really failed, you could just jump off the bike. But anyway, I had this inordinate fear of just speeding away as a kid. I remember that. So let's say that your dad, mom, whoever is teaching you to ride that bike as a kid. And let's say you're doing really well. You're really almost got it actually. And you're like pedaling down the street, and say, I don't know, you lose your balance a little bit or you wobble, or worst case scenario, let's say, well, maybe not worst case, but not great scenario, you fall over and somebody sees you. Now, this person that sees you fall over, unfortunately, not a nice person, or a nice person, but I don't know. I would say not a nice person, because for the sake of this example, the point I'm making is that this person who sees you fall over laughs at you, or they make fun of you for some reason. Now, that may just seem like one silly example, like, oh, okay, well, but that was when you were a kid, like, aren't you over that? Now, here's the interesting part. You might not be over it. In this year, I'm dealing with so much shadow work, and I'm finding that, as bizarre as it feels to be a 35-year-old person going through like childhood stuff, I'm going through childhood stuff. I'm like reliving childhood experiences and understanding that these views that I thought that I had now are mostly just constructs of opinions that other people had of me, or just strange experiences. Like, for instance, if I got laughed at, for instance, for me, the personal example is I remember when I was in college, and this isn't really a huge deal. I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. It's not specific to me. But this particular day I will never forget. And it's again, nothing out of the ordinary, but I was just walking to my class. I was a music student, so I had my flute strapped over my shoulder because they're small, you know, you don't need a lot of room. And I was walking to class, and I think I had my music folder kind of like held in my arms, stuff like that. And whatever, must have been like slightly late to class, not late to class, but I was trying to hurry or whatever. And it was the dead of winter, and I missed an ice patch, and I slipped on it and slipped onto my bum. And oh, did I hurt my bum, for starters? Like, it was one of those falls where it's just terrible. You fall right onto your spine and it hurts. Your tailbone is like bruised for a week. So it was not a fun fall. Not the funs are ever fall. Wow, dyslexia is a way of life. Not that falls are ever fun. But you know, typically we are lucky enough in one way to fall in private. have our embarrassing moments in private. But in this case, it was out in front of a whole bunch of people that were going to class, and it was really humiliating. Now, why am I bringing this up today, and what am I getting at here? What I'm getting at is that what I'm seeing is that a lot of people's worthiness is built off of either, not maybe built off of, but that they have an awful lot of mental clutter and agony that is caused on them. That's terrible grammar, but because they have all these like old lingering opinions that they think people have of them still. It's funny, it only really takes the one time. You think I'm not worthy once, and then if enough people reinforce it, or you think enough people are reinforcing it with their silence, we suddenly adopt this stuff. And before you know it, you're like, I'm a piece of garbage. And that's why I want to draw attention to this. Because, for instance, in my call this morning, even though really no one said this, but I got the feeling that some people, they said, why would anyone listen to me? And I kept just thinking, because it's you, and I know we're in a world online where everything is more crowded and full, and like anyone with a brain who can make a video largely is also uploading a YouTube video is what I was trying to say. And that's kind of cool on the one hand, but on the other hand, it makes it a lot harder if you have a real message you're trying to get out. Or anyway, point being, every experience we have, has the potential to imprint us with something long lasting. And that can be good. Like, I don't know, that can be a really crisp, clear, positive memory. For instance, something say your 18th birthday party, you went out to a really fancy restaurant, you had like this delectable piece of cake that you'll never forget or something, right? Things like that, they stay with us, but we have positive connotations. If people complimented on us on our outfits, those are the kind of things that stay with us. But by the same token, these experiences where maybe we felt shamed, or we felt humiliated or embarrassed, or the lower vibratory things, those things stay with you too. And what's unfortunate about that is that then it starts to affect us a lot, and the more we're unconscious of it growing up, which I think a lot of us were not aware we're thinking these things when we're going forward, it starts to shape you. And then before you know it, you have this habit of thinking that you're worthless, and like, you're not. If there's one thing I can say to you guys right now, whoever you are out there, whatever it is you're trying to do, if you're doing it online or whatever, number one, you have a message. Number one, as I hold up two hands, number one is you have a message. And number two, that you have power in that authenticity that is yours alone. Like, I promise you, everyone gets hung up, and I mean everyone coming into this game gets hung up on why me? Why would anyone listen to me? I'm just another schmo. Because you probably have that magic that a certain percentage of the population isn't going to vibe with. There's a lot of different reasons. But I can say this to you, and this is that ever since I really began to embrace more of my authenticity, to do the deep diving, to go inside, to say, okay, who am I? Which, not solidified, but I'm still on the search for that. Why am I here? What is the message I want to spread? And possibly one of the most important right now is, what am I doing with my energy? We're at a time, especially today, it's 11/11/2020, so I thought I'd make a video partially to just kind of immortalize that date on my channel, but also majorly because I was thinking about the subject of worthiness. Forgot what I was thinking about with that though. But anyway, we accumulate these views that aren't ours, and it's very hard, and they come in very sinisterly to like make us think that we're worthless or whatever. And you guys are not worthless. You're not. You probably just adopted a bunch of these different weird experiences that alchemize themselves into something that you now think is a part of you, and for some reason you feel unworthy. But I tell you right now, you're not unworthy. You're very worthy. Every single one of you here on this planet, you are worthy, and you are loved, and you are here for a very specific reason. Now, I'm not going to pretend to tell you what that is. I'm not a psychic or anything. I wish I was at times, but I'm not. But I was recently talking in one of my Facebook Lives about the power of your authenticity, and it seems really counterintuitive. And as someone who personally is very introverted, let me just say that as weird and as very uncomfortable as it still can often be, it has been one of the most enriching experiences of my life to share my true inside vulnerability with people. It has allowed me to form connections that are so much deeper than any connections I've ever had before in any kind of bonds of any relationships, friendships, otherwise. You know, I am someone who was a loner for a very long time, so worthiness is something that I struggle with, because although I didn't have anyone particularly telling me that I was worth less, and I wasn't really neglected, I was just, my environment was just sort of like, oh, well, you're just here and you're kind of the weirdo. And so I adjusted kind of to being alone. I told myself I deserve to be alone. I should be alone. I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. You know, all these horrible things that we tell ourselves, which for the most parts, guys, it's total BS. BS, as in 1, belief systems, and 2, BS. So, what do I want you to take away from this video? And I know that it seems weird and scary, but listen, communication is one of the big skills that in life will help you with absolutely everything. And there's one thing I know about communication, and it's made so much more difficult if you have no sense of worthiness. If you feel like you are unworthy of love, if you're unworthy of people's time and people's conversation. But let me tell you, if you can just get in touch and be like, you know what, even just try it the first time is going to be the scariest. I'll tell you that right now. The first time will be the most terrifying thing it'll feel like the scariest thing you ever did. You're going to feel like, this is a bit graphic of an analogy, so trigger warning potentially, but this is like, if you were to like cut yourself open and look on the insides and see what you're really made of, you know, go with the inside you. Go with the you that you in the past maybe have rarely expressed. Let that inside skeleton out, you know, because that part, the part that we, for the most part, I think most of us have just been conditioned not to be our whole 100% authentic selves. But I'm telling you, from what I've seen, is when people will allow themselves to connect in that way and connect with other people in that way. For instance, I spent 7 days in really close proximity, like nearly literally 13 to 15 hours a day. I was with this group of 30 to 40 people. And you know, the thing is, number one, everyone was really willing to be vulnerable, which is a big deal these days. Not many people are. They're not so much willing to talk about their inner worlds. And it's weird. I'm not really sure why that is. But what I also know is that I've also seen that the people who are willing to bring up and share out this inside flower that's inside of all of you, it really is. There's a gem, a diamond, a flower inside of every single one of you. Now look at your life and think of the challenges that you've gone through. And I want you to, like, after this video, I want you to sit down with yourself and make a list of all the challenges you've experienced in your life. All the crap that you've gone through and you've come through the other side of. Then look at that list and realize that instead of, gosh, I went through all these struggles, look at how strong that's made you. Realize that those are now subjects that you can talk to someone else about. You can connect to someone and say, hey, I know how that feels. Here's how you can help get yourself out. And believe it or not, as crazy as that sounds, you can inspire people. You can take your hardest struggles, your most difficult times in life, and you can turn it into something absolutely beautiful and alchemize that through your words and through helping others. And so I just want to say that I guess my encouragement, my hope for you guys genuinely would be to begin to embrace your vulnerability and begin to embrace your wounds in a way. Caretake your wounds, appreciate that they're there, but also differentiate between woundings and like differentiate between those thoughts that you have that were caused because of an experience that wounded you and those that you just know to be like unsafe or whatever. You know, let's start to differentiate, because, you know, just because someone laughed at you when you fell on the ice on your butt like they did at me doesn't mean that you're unworthy. And if we can just dismantle this machine that tells us we're worthless, you know, you can really take your challenge points and turn them into major points of inspiration for a lot of people. They say that for every person out there, there's at least 1,000 true fans. So, you know, what do you really have to lose, in fact? And, you know, yeah, you might get haters. We all will at some point. And there are going to be plenty of people on the planet that don't agree with you and some that will. But at the end of the day, all that really matters is that you're being true to yourself. And what I would encourage you to do is to share that gem, that beautiful flower inside, because when I did this year, like I said, I made some of the closest friends I have ever had in my entire life. And the amount of times that I've cried out of just sheer gratitude for the experiences and the people, the loving, loving people in my life now that are from all walks of life and all over. It's really, really beautiful. So today, on this very special day, 11/11, when energies are thin and strong and the universe is looking, do something that will make the universe proud of you. Do something that is true to your true integrity. Like, whatever that is, if you're a musician and you just feel like playing a song today, and for some reason normally you think, I'm not going to put a video up on YouTube, let's just say that you have a YouTube channel, but one day you feel too self-conscious and you're thinking, nah, today I want you to think, you know what, I have something awesome to sing about, I'm just going to do it anyway, and try to put yourself out there, because like I said, the first time will be terrifying, but once you cross that threshold, I think you'll find that people start to come to you that really resonate with you, and they'll be like, yes, you helped me, you know, I understand, like I relate, here's the story about my life. They'll begin to share and you'll form bonds like you have never had. And this is the time, guys. This is the time to form human connections with people that are going to be your tribe, the kind of people that will hold you up for the rest of your life. And I mean in terms of, at the end of the day, all we have is our own selves. We can't really lean on anyone. We can, but you can lean on your friends. You should absolutely have a community. In fact, I personally believe that it's absolutely vital to life to have a community that supports you somewhere, because goodness, without it, I would have maybe killed myself this year. And that's not an exaggeration. That's just the reality, was that this godsend of a group, this blessing of a group of people that I found, and only because I was willing to share my vulnerability have I made such insanely strong bonds. So if you're alone out there, if you feel like you're alone, if you're looking to find a soul tribe like I was just desperately praying for years ago, they're out there, and all it takes, I say all it takes, but you know what it takes is for you to just have the courage to let this flower come up and bloom and go, here you go, world, here's me. If you don't like it, that's okay. If you like it, cool. And you know what? The people will come out of the woodwork that like you. It's strange, but it's true. So today, in closing, I just want to say that worthiness is an interesting beast. It is not entirely just your own. And I would encourage you, please, in fact, please try this. Go make your list of your struggles that you've gotten through the other side, things that you struggled with that were really hard, that you made it through to the other side, like now you're good, or you figured out a way to cope, or whatever. And then I challenge you in a positive sense, in the most loving sense of a challenge, to express that in a video, or express that in a song, or express that in any way, or even just in a conversation to someone. Express yourself and see what comes of that, and then comment below and tell me how your day went, how the experience went. Tell me how it felt, how scary it was, or how scary it was and then how amazing it felt when you did open up. You know, tell me about the connections that you'll make, because I know that this will help you. It's absolutely terrifying at first. It is. It's like you feel like you're taking your heart out of your chest and holding it up to the other person to take while it's still thumping, and you're like, please don't stab my heart and to kill it. And it will help you connect to others. When you share your heart, that is the most beautiful part of every human being, is your heart and soul. And you all have something to offer. You really do. If I do, you do. I'm no one different or better than you. And if I can do this, you can do this. So today, with that little tiny bit of what I hope was inspirational, just encourage you to think about your worthiness, think about how you feel about your worthiness. Do you feel worthy? And then how can you implement and work on feeling more worthy and secure in your power? Because you are powerful and you are strong and you've got this life. We were put here to actually enjoy life, and we're just now learning how to alchemize more properly. That's terrible English still, but how to turn these challenges into beauty and then to give that as a gift to the world. And it's beautiful. So without further ado, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys watching. This channel is going to become very, very garden-centric because I'm very, very passionate. And in these times ahead, we are going to be very challenged for food. There are going to be food shortages, and I am here to help you guys through that. I am here to teach you how to grow things, how to grow seeds, how to grow fruit, how to grow your own food. Permaculture, right here, baby. I will still, of course, be talking about motivational, spiritual type stuff because that's who I am. But I just want you to know that the core of the channel is your guys' well-being, actually. It's me trying to help take care of you guys, because I want you guys to be able to grow your own food forests. I want you guys to never have to visit a grocery store again. And I want you guys to learn, there's quite a few simple different tricks and things throughout gardening, throughout growing food, to where you can make it so that you're growing your own foods very relatively easily, and like it's not like you have to be spending 8 hours, 4 hours, any necessarily even a whole hour, depending on what you want to grow and how much. So I do look forward to sharing those with you. The only reason I haven't made many videos outside lately is it's been a whole rainy streak this week, and I would obviously love to prefer to be outside shooting these videos. And so I thank you for having the patience dealing with my very whatever office, which has a hole in the wall and things. So I appreciate you. You know, we're in quarantine and we just have to deal with what we've got here, huh? And make the best of it. So with that is all for today, you guys. I thank you, every single one of you that tuned in today. Thank you so much. I really encourage you to think about your worthiness and to find it, because it is in there, and you are worthy. No matter what anyone else told you, you are worthy. You are worthy of this life. You are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of the best that life has to offer. Absolutely any human. It's yours as well. You know, there's no such thing as having to like earn that. We're here on earth to experience the best of what life has to offer. And funny enough, as humans, what comes with that is a roller coaster of love, of emotions that go up and down. And while I might like to say that roller coaster stops eventually, it really never does. So it's all about how to learn to enjoy that ride. So anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. If this video helped you out in any way, shape, or form, please do share it, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with like vulnerability. They're feeling unworthy. They're feeling really down and low right now. And if you think that there's any chance that any part of this video would inspire them to stay here on the planet, to feel a little bit better about themselves, anything, please do share it. Purely for that reason, truly. That's all I care about in this video, is that people are empowered, or that people realize that it's okay, that they're okay. So do share it for only that reason, really. And other than that, guys, please do subscribe. As I mentioned, this will be very gardening centric going forward. The only thing preventing me really will be weather. Extreme cold or nasty weather will keep me inside. But I look forward to bringing you guys a whole lot of content coming forward. There will be some music sparsed in there. That is not a word, but thrown in there as well, because I like to sing and play guitar sometimes. So there will be some of those in here. So anyway, have a beautiful week, you guys. I really send you all of my love and prayers, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Don't forget, uploads every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. All right, guys, have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you very soon. Much love. Mwah. Namaste.